Hello friends, welcome to my channel Fusion Next Gen Learning. If you are first time viewer on my channel, subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to get latest update from Fusion Next Gen Learning. In today's demonstration, we are going to cover one more interesting tool, Oracle Visual Builder, to create our transactional data in the Oracle Fusion. With the help of Oracle Visual Builder, you can use your REST API, integrate, design your layout, and whatever the fields are required, you can map all those required field within the Excel and simplify the way of performing the transaction in a bulk. Typically, to perform the transaction in a bulk, will utilize the AppBDI, but this approach is also help you to achieve your business requirement where you are utilizing the Oracle REST APIs without having too much technical knowledge, still you can create your own layout to perform your day to day transaction. There are certain limitations. So, still, there are a lot of improvement, the enhancements coming, but still, you can use for certain transactions to perform the Oracle Visual Builder and you can create your own Visual Builder. So, we'll see that. So, before having the Oracle Visual Builder, you have to download the Oracle Visual Builder from the Oracle site. So for that, if you look at, you have to come to the oracle.com. So this is what the URL where from you have to download the Oracle Visual Builder over your desktop. Once you download, you have to install the Oracle Visual Builder and you have to add in to your Excel. So this is the first step that you have to install the Oracle Visual Builder. I will provide in the video description the URL where from you can download the Oracle Visual Builder add-ins for the Excel. Once you download it, after that you have to start the building. So I'll walk you through how you can design from scratch Oracle Visual Builder via utilizing the REST API, how you can create all those fields. You can define the LOB, make fields mandatory, non-mandatory, how you can publish the Oracle Visual Builder for user to perform their day-to-day transaction. So we'll take one example of item creation. So we'll use the item creation REST API, and as we are aware that few fields are to create the item. So rather than utilizing the AppBDI, we will use the Oracle Visual Builder, having the REST API in place, and will create our items in the Oracle Fusion. So since I have already installed the Oracle Visual Builder add-ins for the Excel, so I will just open one Excel. So if you see that this is the Excel and this is the new sheet I have opened. And within that, if you see that the add-ins got added within the Excel called Oracle Visual Builder. So you have to click there. Once you click on the Oracle Visual Builder, you have certain fields, the functions available within the Excel, like designer. You have the delete layout, you have the manage catalogs, you have the publish, you have the download data, table rows changes, the upload changes, clear whatever you have entered, those records to be clear. Then network monitor, log console, status word, and then log out, about, and advanced. So about, so let's take an example. Currently we are on the version 3.6. So you have to make sure that whenever you are using, you must update with the latest add-ins of Oracle Visual Builder because Oracle is releasing the features in every release. So you must use the and upgrade your Oracle Visual Builder add-ins into updated one. If you click on the advanced, you have the workbook info. You can reset the style. You can check for the updates if there are any updates for the add-ins. Then you can select the language. Then you can see the log activity, diagnostic report, clear browser cache. So let's start. So before creating the Oracle Visual Builder layout, what we need the REST API. So let's go ahead. So to search the REST API, you have to come to the Google, and within the Google, you can type Oracle REST API for item creation. Just search with that, or you can search the REST API for Oracle Fusion Cloud SCM create items. So if you see that, so just search with that. Once you search, you can see that we are at the supply chain and manufacturing, and after that we are at the 23C. So we'll come down, and within that, if you scroll down, you have all the transactional APIs available, which you can utilize. You can create your own Oracle Visual Builder. So we'll utilize just to item create. So we'll go through, and now within the item version 2, we have the create item. So we have this API available. We'll utilize this API to create the item. Now, how we will utilize this API? So we have now API. We have already installed the Oracle Visual Builder. We have opened and added the add-ins to the Excel, so-called Oracle Visual Builder. Now, what is our next step? So we have to go to the Excel sheet, and first we have to click on the designer. So any steps you have to design new layout, you have to click on the designer. Once you click on the designer, it will open the new layout setup where you have the web address. So web address you have to enter. So how the web address looks like? So first you have the host. Host is which you are utilizing to log in inside the Fusion application. That is your host. And after that, you have to put your REST API. And after that, you have to put the describe. If you notice that authentication, we have the default, we have the Oracle Fusion application token relay, we have the Auth 2.0 authorization code, we have the basic access authentication and the no authentication. So based on what you have enabled for your application, you can use. So I will be utilizing the default as authentication. Now after that, you have to click on the next. Once you click on the next, what you have to do? It will ask you, prompt you to log in. So you have to log in with your username and password, which you are using to get logged in inside the system. So let me enter my username and password. What it does basically, it will start loading all the objects so that we will utilize all those objects to create our own layout. So before it's downloading, let me walk you through. So if you looked at, so how our looks like. So basically you have your host, and then after that you have your API, and after that forward slash you have to put your describe. So this is what the structure you have to use in the web address whenever you are creating new layout or you are using new API to create your transaction layout. Now it's downloaded. We'll click on the next. After that, we'll select the parent object. Now click on next. So we have two layouts available within the Oracle Visual Builder. First one is table layout and second one is form over table layout. So I will cover into next session the form over table layout. So in today's session, we will cover the table layout. What is table layout? So table layout will be the Excel looks like template. It will be into table structure. Now I will click on the next and click on the finish. What it does, basically it will download all the fields and add it to the Excel automatically. And if you looked at, we have the item, we have the item attachment. So we can use this Oracle Visual Builder for the item attachments as well. We will use for category, we will use for the item revisions as well. We will utilize for the item revision translation and then revision the attachment, item supplier association, item translation as well. So in this video, so I will utilize only item. If you looked at first column will have the change, means what change we are doing, create or the update. We have the status, whether it's succeeded, it's failed. Now after that, we have all the attribute imported, but we will not utilize all the attribute to create the item. So generally to create the item, there are few attributes are required. What are those? So you need organization code, you need item number, that is user entered value. You need item description, you use the item long description. You need item status, you need the life cycle phases, item class, item template. So we'll select all these fields and we'll design our own layout rather than the complex layout because it's by default. So to customize or add your own fields, how you can customize it. So if you looked at, we have the layout designer, we have the four tabs: general, query, columns, and the advanced. So you have to click on the columns where you have the plus icon. So simply you have to click on the plus icon. Once you click on the plus icon, you see that all the fields are enabled. So first we'll disable. To disable all the field, just simply you have to click on the select all. Once you disable that select all checkbox, you have to choose your own field. So what we need the organization code, we need item class, we need template, item description, item status value, life cycle phase value, and what else we need? We need the primary value, and after that we need the long description. So let's search the long description. So we have added. Now after that, if we notice, there are one field called the organization ID that is mandatory. So if we will be ignoring this, then system will prompt the error because we have to enter this organization ID. But since we have added the organization code, so we don't want organization ID at all. Either you can utilize the organization ID or you can use the organization code. So to make it non-mandatory, you have to just add and double click. So what it does basically, it will open the further options where you have the general, constant, and the list of value. So general, where you have, so it's talk about the fields, whether it's integer or it's a string, it's date time, number, boolean, date, no time, object, unsupported. So which data type is it? Then the constant. So constant, where if you looked at the required for update, if you enable this and this is applicable, this feature is applicable for all the fields. So let's say if you decided that certain field has to be mandatory during the update, so you can enable this. If you want that certain field has to be enabled during the create, you can enable this. So currently it's enabled, so I will disable because I don't want to use the organization ID. If you want editable on update, so if you want that certain fields to be editable on update, then you just enable it. Editable on create, so that you can enable, and searchable, that by default is enabled, and then omit from payload if value is empty. So what is does basically, if you are not adding these values, it won't give you an error. So all these constants are available within the business object field editor. And if you come to the list of values, where if you want that the particular list of values has to be driven from the object values, the fields, you can just enable and link. So I'll walk you through how you can choose this list of values criteria. So what I have done, I have just disabled this flag required for create, and I will just click on done. So if you notice that, so it's become as a non-mandatory. But since I have added in the layout organization code already, so I don't want this. So I will just disable this and click on Done. Now, if you notice that the format, the layout, we have limited number of fields available, which are required for us to create an item. Now, if you notice that the item and the description are not in sequence, so what we'll do, we'll click again plus and we'll just put to the description. Once you click on the over the description, automatic description will come after the item. So let's take an example. The organization code I want to be first. So I will put to the long description. After that, I want item to be there. I will put on the long description. After that, I want the short description. So I will put on the long description. After that, long description, the primary value, lifecycle phase, item status, template, and the item class. Now I will click on the done. So this is how you can change the sequence of any column. Now click on done. And if you notice that all sequence change based on our uses. Now, if you see, there are no values. So we have to bring all those values. So how we will bring all those values? So first we'll go to the organization code. So let's take an example. You have to select the columns, the field called organization code. You have to click on the pencil icon. Once you click on the pencil icon, you have an option called general, where you can, if you want, you can defaults your organization code so that every time user has to use or create item for particular organization, you can default the values from here. We'll cover the values, how you can enable all those values also. If you don't want that to be defaulted, you can enable the list of values. So for this user, what we'll choose? So we'll see both the options. So right now I am defaulting. So I will say this is what my organization code, this has to be defaulted. Now there are certain options. So you have the help tags. So you can put some instructions for your user what they have to choose. So let's say enter valid organization code. So we have entered the help tags. If you are using the list of value, then also you can add, or based on your business usage, you can use whatever you want as a help to display. Now I will say click on done. Now we'll go to the organization. Once I select it, now you can see that help text is coming, enter valid organization code. After that, item number is the user entered value. The description will be user entered, long description will also be user entered. Now primary values. So we'll select the primary value. Now we'll go to the pencil icon. After that, what we'll do, we'll go to the list of value. Now this time we'll enable the list of value. To enable it, first you have to enable, then you have to select the data source. So data object will be item. You have to select your identity field, primary value, and then you have to add the display field. So that field is primary. You can select primary value. That is your display field. And after that, you can click on done. Now, once you add it, if you notice that it start loading, it start fetching from the server all the values. Now coming to the lifecycle phase. So we'll choose the lifecycle phase, and again we'll go to the list of values, and that we will enable. Again, we'll select object as an item. Click on OK. Now we'll select again. So we have selected the item. We'll go to the identity. So that is our life cycle. So we have selected the life cycle phase. Now we'll go to the again the display life cycle. And then if you see it's added, now we'll click on the done. And if you notice that it will start also fetching the data. So since they are loading, now coming to the item status value. So item status value. So we'll again go to the list of values, enable, and then select item. Click on OK. Again, we'll select the identity. So item status values and click on OK. And then after that, we will select the display field item status value and click on OK. Now done. So we have Enable the list of values for primary value as well as the life cycle phase and the item states value. Now for the template. So in the template also, you can create your own list of values rather than fetching from the APIs. So what you do, you can go to the data and will select data validation and will just say list. Now you can enter all your templates. So it will be restricted to those templates only. So that's how you can also restrict and create LOVs for your user to select. So we'll see that. So first one is purchased item, and then so we'll take few example purchase items, purchasing. So take purchase items, purchasing, and then ATO items. So we'll check that template name. So ATO item. So, so we have added three template. You can add comma and comma separated, and you can add, as many as your values. Now simply you can click on OK. So if you see that, it's coming as a list of values. If you want this field to be mandatory, the template, simply you have to click there and click on pencil icon. And within the constant, you can just enable the required for create and click on done. If you notice that this field become mandatory. Now coming to the item class. So item class, so we'll take another example of default values. So we'll click on the pencil icon. Now over here, choose your correct item class. So we'll go. So we have defined the item class. So we'll copy that particular item class and we'll put the item class. Now click on done. So we have added the default values as well. And if you click there, choose your correct item class. So we have covered that how you can enter the user help text for entering the correct data and select by the user. How you can create your own list of values rather than getting from the APIs. How you can default your own values. Now after that, what we have to do, let's start creating the data. So if you see that, so let's just validate whether all fields are coming. And if we notice that item class template, now we'll create the item. So let's enter our item to test whether these layouts are good for the publish. So we'll see that also how to publish and make it readily available for user to perform. So whenever user trying to log in, they have to log in with their user credentials and they have to punch their data and they have to create the item. So we'll enter the item number. So let me enter FUS0001. So that is our item number. Now we'll enter the description. So test, or we can put that Oracle Visual Builder. And now we'll enter the long description. So we can enter Oracle test items. Now you can use your actual short description and the long description. This is just for the demo purpose I'm using. Now after that, I will select the and then life cycle. Now we have our organization code. Now we'll set the item status value. Now the template. So template will select purchased item and the item class. That is what we have defaulted. So if we looked at, we have entered all the data. Now if you notice that the change status become as a create. Now to test this, if you notice that this status row is enabled and status is now pending create. So we'll go to the Oracle Visual Builder. So we are ready with all the key data. Now what we have to do? So before publishing, we'll do test. If you see that the status, so now we'll click on the upload changes and we'll wait for the results. So if you notice that the status, what we are getting, the create rows one succeeded, zero failed, one total. So we have added only one row and successfully it's created the data. To test this, let's go to the application and we'll see that particular item, whether that items got created successfully. So we'll go to the product management and we'll search. So product management and we'll go to the product information management. And now we'll try to search our item. So our item is FUS001 and so our item class. So we'll search our item class. Our item class. Now we'll enter the item and try to search. So if you notice that we have created the item by utilizing the REST API with the help of Oracle Visual Builder. And it's very easy and quickest to create an item, to do the maintenance of the item. And this is very good tool available. This tool you can utilize, you can extend this to create your purchase order, to update your purchase order, to create your inventory transactions. If you notice that, so let me just walk you through. So this is what we have created. You can add as many as the attributes and you can create. Now, how to publish? So to publish, so currently, if you notice that we are into designer. Now, to publish, what you have to do, you have to click on the publish. So that because once you will be into designer mode, you can change whatever you want. If you publish this, then this particular feed will be available for user to test because does not do any changes. So we'll do that. If you notice, you have there are a couple of options available. So remove the service host from each catalog. So let's take example. If you want that host, whatever host you have added, that's to be removed from the catalog, you just enable this. Otherwise, leave it. Clear all authentication properties. If you want, you can enable. Otherwise, let it be. If you want clear all layout, then you can enable or disable. Clear the list of value or cache, enable or disable. Disable designer tools. So if you don't want your user to give the permission of the designer tool, and as a developer, you can design, you can publish their version, do the version controls. Now, if you notice that enable protection for worksheet, that layout. So if you want that protection to be enabled, then you just enable this flag. And if you want, so let's say we will say item creation. So item creation, we have put it. So we have given the name and now I don't want clear the list of values from the cache. So I have just disabled the designer tool and entire thing remove remain the same. I will click on publish. So once I'll do publish, that will be saved and will use and provide to the user so that the user can use those sheet. So we have published and once we publish, now if you see that the designer tool, so designer tool is not available and if I want, I can enter the details and I can create my records So let's take an example. So in the publish section, if you notice, so whatever the field you want uncheck, you can uncheck. So disable designer tool. So if you want this tool to be disabled, you have to enable this flag. If you enable, if you disable this, then the designer tool will be available in the user Excel spreadsheet. If you enable it, then this won't be available. Before publishing, you can use that. So this is what we have covered so far. How to publish. Now, if you see that the columns in the advanced section, in the query, and this is what the general section. Now let's take an example. If you trying to add the another values in the sheet will say that the sale or chart trying to changes is on the vector sheet. So since we have enabled the section, so while publishing, so let me showcase during the publish, we have enabled this flag enable protection for worksheet with layout. That's why it's giving the error for us to add any data. So to remove that, you have to go to the review, and within the review, you have to just click on the unprotected sheet. Once you're done, then you key enter your data. So let's say 002, you can enter, and you can enter fuse 002, fuse 002. That is what the demo. So you can. And now if you notice that system will prompt the login if you're trying, because this is user sheet and we have published. So I will log in again with my user credential. So let me log in with that. So I did login in the Oracle Visual Builder. Now I can easily access all the data and will copy the template or select from the LOV. So we have done that. And simply you have to go to the Oracle Visual Builder and you can just upload all the changes. And if you notice that created successfully, now created one row and you can enter. Now since we have unprotected sheet, you can enter another data. Unprotect sheet you have to click so that easily you can add a number of rows and you can create your data. Same way you can utilize to download your data and upload. So if you click on the download, so you have to click on the download. Once you click on the download, it will start downloading all your data. So system will ask already downloaded 499 rows. There are more rows. Please choose one of the following option. So if you don't want further, you can stop now and it will download the 499 records for you. And based on that, you can update, you can choose, you can change whatever the attribute. So easy of the maintenance also you can do within the download option. This spreadsheet can be utilized for to maintain the item, for create the item, for assigning the item to the organization. So based on your business requirement, you can customize, you can change the layout and achieve your business requirement. So if you notice that it's downloading the data, so we'll wait. Yeah. So if you notice that it's downloaded all the data, now whatever the fields we want to update or change, based on the field you can, so we have added only these fields, that's why it's coming. You can add all couple of fields and you can download all the spreadsheet and based on that you can do the maintenance activity as well. Now you have an option to log out, that you can just log out, and if you want any data to be updated, if you click, automatic system will prompt you to log in. Since we have disabled that, the flag we have enabled that host to be remain same. If you want that to be changed, that also you can do. So let's take an example. If you want host to be changed, so you have developed this for your development environment. If you want that host to be changed, you have to come to the advanced. And within the advanced section, you have to click on the edit service host. And within that, you have to change your host detail over here and click on the OK. So that you have to make sure. This is, we have covered the table layout by using the Oracle Visual Builder to create an item using the REST API. This is how you can achieve your business requirement. You can design. Thank you. Thank you for watching my channel, Fusion Next Gen Learning. Keep subscribing, keep watching. Happy learning.